What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-fade on my boy, so stay tuned. Once we were done saturating the hair and combing everything in place, we grabbed our gold FX and created our first guideline. You always want to make sure you contour this guideline to the client's head shape. This is so that the fade could flow better, and also it's more unique to their head. Don't be afraid to use your opposite hands to stretch the skin to give you more space to either bald out or blend. We're going to use some shave stick so it lowers the likelihood of him bumping up. Now that we're done applying shave stick, we can then move on to our foil shavers and flick out as much as possible. You always want to stay around a centimeter away from your first guideline so it'll make it easier to blend. Now that we're done balding them out, we could then move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around an inch thick so you can spread the blend. Now that we're done setting in that guideline, we could then slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram. Also, if you want to show some extra support, you can go ahead and leave a super thanks down below. Now that we're done softening up the line with our one guard and its lever, we can then move on to our half guard and try to erase the line completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're also going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Here I'm using a 3 guard just to debulk the parietal ridge. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we're moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're going to attempt to erase this line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using his corners would definitely help. Now that we're done with the sides, we can move on to the back, and I'm going to start off with our no guard all the way open, creating our second guideline. Remember, we're going to use this lever halfway and all the way closed to help us erase this initial guideline. Now moving on to our one guard all the way open, we're going to create our third guideline, and this guideline is going to help us blend into our no guard all the way open and also our half guard. As you guys can see here, I'm switching over to my half guard after I'm done using the one guard to soften up the line as much as possible, and here I'm just going to most likely take it out completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we're moving on to our two guard all the way open, and this is going to help us create our fourth guideline. We're also going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line, especially because it's right on top of the silver bone. Now that we're done softening up this line, we're using our 1.5 guard to help us remove it completely. Now moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, we're going to flick out as much as possible and use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Moving on to our clipper over comb method, I'm going to use my horizontal cuts to debulk as much as possible. When I use my vertical cuts, as you can tell, I'm blending. Now that we're done with the back and sides, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and begin to blend the sideburns. Now I'm using my one guard all the way open to help us blend into the beard. Especially going with the grain is going to help. Now that we're done blending the sideburns, we're going to use our Gold FX to make the beard as crispy as possible. We're going to start off at the bottom right side. When lining up the mustache, you want to be as gentle as possible because you could bite them with the teeth of the trimmer. Before we start lining him up, we're going to make sure that we comb all the baby hairs down and make sure everything's nice and even. Now that we're done combing out all the baby hairs, we can move on to our Gold FX and start off at the middle, working our way to the sides. You also want to go as slow as possible and make sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair's going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Moving on to the other side, we're going to try to stay as consistent as possible and go slow enough that we go and make sure that everything's nice and neat. Now that we're done with the front line, we're going to go ahead and move on to the top. Now that everything is laid down and neat, we can move on to our shear work and create our first guideline and can stay consistent as possible with this guideline throughout the canvas of the head. Some cuts you're going to make with your shears need to be diagonal or add a certain shape and curve texture, so make sure you are paying attention to that. You always want to match the curvature of their head, especially when you're using your shears. As you can see here, we're going to use our shear work to make sure the overhang blends into the side of the hair perfectly. Now that we're done using our shears, we're going to move on to our Turkish razor and Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we use our razor, we're going to apply some shave Zelle so our razor could glide better. Now that we're done using shave gel, we could then apply our hot towel. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on Instagram. Also, if you want to show some extra support, you can go ahead and leave a super thanks down below. When using your razor, you always want to stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and most likely keep it at a 45-degree angle when you're using your razor. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-fade on my boy, so stay tuned. We started off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place so we could get a nice and neat canvas. I want to do a Q&A video soon, so drop any questions down below in the comments. Now we're going to separate the top of the hair from the sides. Starting off with our gold FX, we're going to create our first guideline, contouring to his head shape. You also want to make sure not to press too hard here, because then you're going to have a harder line to take out. Now we're going to use our gold FX to completely bottom out and make sure everything's nice and even. Don't be afraid to use your opposite hands to stretch the skin when needed. Now that we're done balding them out, we could then move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Once we're done setting in our second guideline, we could then slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on the Instagram. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we could then move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. As you guys can see here, I'm using my comb to help us feed the hair into the clipper. We're also going to use this same guard to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we could then move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're also using our comb to feed the hair into the clipper here, especially when it gets to longer hair. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we could then move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Again, I got a Q&A video coming up, so I want to make sure you guys leave some questions down below in the comments so I can answer them. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using these corners would definitely help. Now with our 3 guard all the way open, we're going to use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper, and this is going to help us finish off our silhouette. Now that we're done with our 3 guard all the way open, I'm going to go back to my 2 guard all the way open and try to blend out that guideline between those 2 guards. Now that we're done using our guards, we are now moving on to our clipper over comb method, and we're going to use our horizontal cuts to make sure we debulk as much as possible. And remember, when I'm using my vertical cuts, I'm using it to blend. Now that we're done fading up the sides, we can move on to his front line and use our gold FX to start off at the middle and work our way to the sides. When lining up the vertical bars, you want to keep them as natural as possible. You don't want to make the angle too exaggerated. Also, when you're lining up the C-cups, I always like to start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. I just feel like that's the most accurate way possible. Now that we're done lining up our C-cup, we can move on to the other side. Always make sure to go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. As you guys can see, this is a natural lining. I'm making sure I don't push the C cups back. I'm making sure they also match. As you guys can see, I'm going back and forth. Now that we're done lining them up, we can then move on to our Turkish razor and Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. When using your razor, you always want to keep it at a 45-degree angle and also stretch the skin with your opposite hand as much as possible. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a follow down below on the Instagram.